How's everyone's day been so far?
Pardon?
Pardon? You not hear me?
Pardon?
I'll be quiet. So before I introduce myself, I just want to thank April for inviting me down here today, because it is a cause that is very close to my heart. But I am going to assure you that you'll be very glad you didn't see me out on the golf course today, because there would have been chaos, and not the good kind of chaos. There probably would have been golf clubs flying everywhere and all in the wrong direction. But my name is Sophie Grace Holmes, and I'm here to tell you a story, and I promise you it's a good story. It's my story, and it's one that I hope that will inspire and motivate you to live your life as full as you possibly can, but also to live one through the things you are passionate about, and importantly, as yourself. Because in a world of social media and things of people wanting to be things that they're not, this is very difficult. But before I start, I just want you to get thinking. So I want you to think about 4 things. The things that make you happy, the goals you've actually set yourself this year, if you've set any, and if not, I hope you are thinking about setting them. The things you love doing, and what describes you best. I mean, later I might even ask some of you if you're brave enough to talk to me. So I hope that these will spark your imagination into action, because these simple things can turn a lot of things in your lives around. So I'm going to take you back all the way to the beginning, and I hope that the message that I'm going to share with you, which is a positive one despite CF, and I hope that it resonates within you on some kind of level. But before that, I want you to brush away any worries you've had or anything that's been going on throughout the last few weeks or this year, because this is relevant. Because having a child born with CF, and these are the words of my mum and dad, it is like bringing up a child to die. Now, as much as that is a very negative thing, it can be brought around into a positive situation, which is what I'm going to explain to you later. So I want you to embrace any uncertainty, and I want you to think about uncertainty as being the beauty of an opportunity. And actually, opportunity lies within that. There is endless things. So be brave with it, because it will challenge you, but it will also exercise things within you that will bring you down some incredible paths. And it will also explain later why you should never waste your time on anything you will regret. So I've always been in a very different position to any of my friends, and that's actually okay. And actually, I'm very grateful for that. Because when I was young, the word survival rate had to be something that I became extremely comfortable with. And I'm happy I have done, but it's very strange how linked death and actually living can be. And you actually have to be told that you might die in order to actually live. Kind of ironic. But I'm going to take you back just 10 years. I was a student at school. I'm 27 now, so I was still at school. And I loved sport, I loved PE, and I was in all of the teams. I was that annoying child that was never actually in school because I was too busy playing sport, running about. But this is where my passion lies, and this is where I had built my career. Because physical adventure challenges your mindset. It challenges the ordinary, and it challenges the odds. Now, recently I've just got back from Portugal, and I make it my mission to be that annoying person again, to be the best I can be. So it was actually a work-related trip doing a boot camp holiday, which probably is some people's worst nightmares. But I made it my mission to make sure I beat every single person there, simply because I could. But I'm going to talk to you about something that completely has turned my life around, and why it has played such a crucial role in my journey as to me standing here today. But first, your mind is a very powerful tool, and if you train it well, and you train it harder than anything, you can do anything. And I hope that what I say next will inspire you in your journeys to go forward and achieve some extraordinary things, because We all can, and I believe we all can. My life has been one hell of a ride, and it kind of makes me laugh because nothing is ever simple, and actually with the highs there's always a bigger low, and I think that's great. So it kind of excites me for what's coming next. My journey will be very different to yours, but I'm forever grateful for that. And I will never take a single breath for granted. So I'm going to talk to you about the thing that drives me every single day. My motivation to not only survive, but to thrive. To live a life to the fullest and experience all it has to offer. From my career to adventure. My motivation is fierce. Why? Because I am chasing big goals. And I want to experience life. I want to experience everything it has to offer. I want to have stories to share, and I want to follow what I love. And I want to make my life the most beautiful but most fearless story, in the hope that it will encourage one person at the very least to do the same. Because to me, a rich and satisfying life means one of contrast. From coffee shops to adventure, to adrenaline to conversation. It's about, no matter what the circumstance, embracing life for what it is offering you. Because really, life is just a series of events, and it's how we choose to react to them determines the outcome of what's next. So I've been very, very lucky. I've had some very interesting experiences in my life and conversations with some pretty incredible people. Many of them went like this. Wow, that looked amazing. I wish I could, but now, this is where I'm going to stop you, because what comes next is an excuse. Most are quite valid. Work, school, college, family, friends, hobbies. But I want you to remember these words, and I'm going to repeat it twice so that you can remember them. The excuses you are making today will be the regrets you have at the end of your life. The excuses you are making today will be the regrets you have at the end of your life. Now, you are all here today to fundraise for cystic fibrosis. I realise that's very obvious. And I think what is now even more obvious is I suffer from cystic fibrosis. Now, I'm going to go into a few details, but before then, I'm sure if you have read any of the leaflets hanging around on your tables, you will have read a few facts. Cystic fibrosis is an invisible disease. Standing here, I look the picture of health. I look like a normal girl enjoying life, pursuing her career, and being happy, and that I am. But you just never know really what's going on inside. But it's made me the driven, the determined, the slightly mad, I would admit, businesswoman you see standing here in front of you today. And even my doctors and nurses think I'm absolutely insane. After a recent hospital admission back in September, I asked them in special request to have an exercise mat and weights put in my room, merely so that I can jump around doing burpees and lifting weights just to keep me alive. And what's even better is every single time I go to a hospital appointment, the doctor asks, so what's next for you then? What am I going to have to keep you alive for next? What challenge is on the horizon? What more could you want from that? And I'm going to tell you as well that it's okay to break the rules, because it's more fun that way. And technically, I have time and time again, and that is why I'm standing here today. CF is a disease that affects many organs, but mainly for me, it is my lungs and my digestive system. By a build-up of thick, sticky mucus within my body, which if I did not take my medication and if I did not go to the gym every single day, would probably kill me. Which is something I do not wish to think about. So it's certainly not glamorous. I have to take over 80 tablets a day just to keep alive, and I have to go to the hospital every 3 months. And sometimes I have to go through procedures such as bronchoscopies, intravenous IVs, and CT scans, blood tests, you name it, I've done it. But if we look a bit deeper into the statistics, most people with cystic fibrosis die before the age of 28. Now, I don't know about you, but that's really young. The life expectancy is only 41 years of age. But this is why I am working so incredibly hard to make the change. Because I believe everybody with CF can live a life unlimited. I'm fast approaching 27, and although many people die before the age of 28, that doesn't worry me. I'm telling you this because life is what you make it, not what you think you should be doing or living, because you should be doing exactly what you want. So I encourage you to live fiercely, passionately, because life is too short. They say that the biggest regret of a dying person is not what they've done, but it's what they did not do. So don't let that be you. It was only yesterday that I heard a story from a friend of mine of a 24-year-old girl with CF who took her own life because she simply could not live with the struggles of CF, the medications, the hospital admissions, and the mental and physical battles. Now, I don't know about you, but that literally broke my heart. But I hate to say it, it is something you start to become used to hearing. Because I have lost a lot of friends before the age of 22, and that just saddens me. Because simply either their bodies couldn't cope or the support wasn't there. But this is why I believe it is possible, and I believe that with the right people surrounding you, we can change that. But this is why we all need help. Because life is so precious, and actually a non-CF related incident happened to me in the beginning of the year, which should have killed me. I was hit at 70 miles an hour on the motorway, ending up upside down in a ditch with the half of my car missing. I literally walked out like this. Now, if a guardian angel wasn't standing on my shoulder that day, and I'm not done with life just yet. And I've also been told that one of my best talents is not dying, so I'll take that. But I firmly believe each and every one of you have a purpose. And mine's not fulfilled just yet. I think each experience you have to face, it makes you more grateful, and it gives you a bit of a wake-up call, and it gives you perspective. Now, the reason I am the way I am is because I've always been told I can't. I've been told, you shouldn't be able to do that, you can't do that, because of science. Science is great, but it's not everything. And it's not going to ever get between a determined woman wanting to make a lasting impact and simply live. So I'm that person that says, why not? Why can't I? You can do anything you put your mind to, especially if you are surrounded by the right people. Those people who believe in you so strongly and that will support even your wildest of dreams. So choose your network wisely. They will be the making or the breaking. So keep those right ones close. The real, genuine people are really rare to find, and that's what I want to emphasise. Energy is everything, so keep it uplifting, keep it positive. Because you can defy all odds like I have, regardless of what they are. So technically, I'm living a healthy, happy life 10 years past my sell-by date, as I like to call it. And if that's not something amazing, then I don't know what is. And that's the exciting thing. There'll be up times and there'll be down times. But I absolutely thrive for challenge and showing what's going to be done. And I hope that I can inspire all of you to overcome any challenges you face. So as I've said, from a young age, I got told I wouldn't make my teenage years, my mid-20s, my 30s, but I've done a pretty good job of proving that wrong so far, because I can. So I challenged the doctors. Just over 2 years ago, I persuaded them to let me go on an adventure. And that was an adventure they told me I'd never achieve. And that's when I set that when I was 19. In October 2015, I persuaded the doctors to let me go and summit Mount Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro stands at 5,985 metres. It is the highest freestanding mountain in the world. And I did. I was also the second person in the world with CF to summit. And those who know me knew I wasn't ever going to leave Africa until I had, because I'm really stubborn. So I celebrated by doing burpees on the top, as you do. Or maybe just me. And I actually have a canvas hanging up on the wall to remind me every single day that even the impossible is possible. Since then, I've completed a 100-kilometre ultramarathon, a 200-mile relay, several half marathons, and I am set to trek the glaciers of Iceland, the Himalayas, and potentially do the Marathon des Sables through the Sahara Desert. This is what I love doing. But you can imagine how my parents must feel when I go, so, I found my next challenge. And with a deep breath, I ask, go on then. But in reality, although obviously CF has driven me to this, you must be wondering, why do you go to the extreme of every single thing you do? So this is where it gets a bit tough. 7 years ago, I was in a very different position. So I became seriously ill, and I dropped lung function by 50% in a matter of months due to personal stress, different things. And the doctor at the time turned around and said, Soph, that's it for you. CF has finally caught up. I'll give you less than 5 years. I actually laughed and I was like, oh, thanks, Nick. Appreciate the hope and the positivity there, but I'll see you in 5 years. He didn't actually see me for 5 years because I think he was too scared. But hospitals aren't a place I intend spending my life, although they are having to be quite a big part of my life. I call this my wake-up call. The realisation that I was carrying a condition that would kill me if I did not fight. And I'm sure each one of you, if you were told at that age, or any age, that you either have to fight or flight, I think most of you would fight. So my health was being based on the norms of CF, and I don't like to be based on the norm, because I'm not, and I'm proud of that. Unfortunately, CF is a life sentence. There is no cure, but that doesn't scare me. But it will never define me. My biggest fear is not living, which is why I pride myself on not being normal, because normal doesn't leave room for growth, being creative with your own life. And why would you want to be like anybody else when the most powerful thing in the world is the ability to be you and to build your own legacy? So this was my turning point. I drew up a really long bucket list of 200 things, of only crazy things that people would do. I then retrained out of being a legal secretary into the fitness industry. And until I only just realised recently that that one decision, just like that, I made that one life-changing risky decision, alongside a series of being in the right place at the right time, has given me the best life I could ever have. Because now I'm working, not only doing something I love, but I now have a full team behind me who fully support everything that I want to do, passionately. So this is only the start. This is why I'm a firm believer you can achieve anything you put your mind to, especially if the odds are stacked against you. Because of my journey, I have a very unique outlook on life, and it goes something like this. You must have the courage to seek your adventure in life and live it on your own terms. The key word here is adventure. Specifically physical adventure, because that is where my passion comes from. Why? Adventure comes from goal setting. And I'm not talking goals. I'm talking goals. I am talking goals that are so big that they scare the hell out of you. So I urge you, when you are going to be setting your goals, that you set goals that you believe you cannot achieve yet. Because if these goals aren't big enough, your behaviour won't change. And if your behaviour doesn't change, nothing changes. So you have to motivate yourself and scare yourself enough into changing your behaviour. But I promise you, if you have the courage to chase these adventurous goals, it will improve every single area of your life. In work, you will become more focused, more results orientated, and you'll have less time for any drama. In family and friends, that is where the real opportunity lies. So stop looking for them for support, because you are your own inspiration and you are your own support. In wellness, well, I don't think I need to explain all the benefits to both mind and body. But if you are chasing your passion and becoming fit, focused and healthy, and what that does for your soul is incredible. But when you go through the process of chasing these adventurous goals, everyone's journeys are different, so mine will be very different to yours. But when you go through them, you are pushing boundaries. But what happens next is utterly amazing. You will become self-aware. You will understand what you want out of life, and importantly, you will understand what you are capable of. You can then make life choices, knowing what you want out of life and what you are looking for. And if you make those choices accordingly, you will reach fulfillment. And fulfillment is an incredible thing, because once you are fulfilled, you can give to others, and the world will be a better place because you are here. So don't be pushed around by the fears in your head, but led by the dreams in your heart, because I do believe that everybody is able to achieve something extraordinary. Even if you don't believe, I believe in every single one of you here. So please remember, whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. If you continue to believe as you've always believed, you will continue to act as you've always acted. And if you continue to act as you've always acted, you'll continue to get what you've always gotten. And if you want different results in your life, all you have to do is change your mind. So this is my journey, and I hope that I've given you a bit more insight into CF. And the only one thing that I must say is one thing that people don't understand is CF is hard enough as it is. But the one thing that surprises people time and time again is that people with CF cannot meet each other, which is why Finley's not here today, because I'm here. Because we could make each other seriously ill due to a cross-infection of bugs in our lungs, and it's just simply too dangerous to even consider the option. But I urge you to find your adventure. And I want you to think about what is that one thing you're making an excuse about, and simply stop. I've already said it. If you make excuses, they'll turn into regrets. Don't let that happen to you, because the trouble is, you think you have time. Time is the most valuable thing coming from somebody who's been told you never have time. So please look after it, because once it's spent, you can't earn it back. Remember that. So I challenge you from today to make a decision to go and live your lives the way you truly want. That's powerful. And if there's one thing I want you to take away, is have the courage to live true to you, not the life that is expected of you. Have the courage to express your feelings. Let yourself be happy and embrace who you are. Because true happiness is actually tied to goals. It's the people that are around you that enhance your life. A very smart once said, our time is limited. So I thank you so much for a few minutes of yours.